So now we're just going to sit back and enjoy watching them on the main menu.
Oh, they're going. The race is
Okay,
on.
the race is on. Hooray! Cool. Let's see here. It should hopefully sync up soon. Let's see.
All right, so this is, as we said, this is the no out of bounds category, meaning we play through the entire game without the out of bounds glitch.
And basically, it's like the any percent category, but the only difference is you cannot go out of bounds at all. There is a very notorious glitch in this game where you can clip out of bounds after the first boss and skip the entire game and clip directly into the final boss and do the entire game within 8.5 minutes or so. So, because of how unfun that is, the no out of bounds category makes you play through the game without going out of bounds.
Yeah, this is going to be like, this category is probably considered the most competitive.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely like the main category for Luigi's Mansion.
All right, parlor room is done. And we go into the, for those of you versus fans out there, it's the anteater room.
So, are you Team 2 Clan or Team Jep Squad, Afro Man?
Jep Squad.
Absolutely. Are you Team JurgaBurga or Team sandyX? Let us know in the chat.
Yes, please. All right, so we go for these strats to set up for doubles. Sandy and looks like both of them got the doubles.
Although Sandy kind of messed up a little bit beforehand, though he did
Yeah.
manage to squeeze the double out of it afterwards. Jurga getting the second double fine, Sandy following suit as well. So far, so good, although Jurga does have a small bit of a lead.
Yeah, this particular double we don't go for. I mean, we go for these one by one just to, it's optimized to do that, so then the ghosts, next wave of ghosts spawn instantly.
Yes, for that specific wave of ghosts, only one of those ghosts is required to spawn the second wave. So you can do the first
Oh
ghost
no!
optimally. Oh, I
Sandy
see.
loses 10 seconds, I think.
Yes, a poison mushroom will cost you 10 seconds in which you are completely rendered immobile. So, unfortunately, this puts Jurga at quite a lead. I say unfortunately, I suppose on Jurga's end it's quite fortunate.
Yeah.
Not too much happens in Area 1. It's pretty standard. You just do some rooms. Jurga's going to start heading towards Neville, which is the first portrait ghost. Pretty simple. So far, nothing really too interesting about what you have to do. Just sort of turn away from him, suck him up, continue.
Yeah. And we have a couple of ways of catching him. We can either choose the bottom corner or the top corner. It kind of depends on what your preference is.
Yeah, I mean, optimally, it doesn't matter where you go, it'll be the same speed every time. But generally, the top left corner is faster. Reasons being that Neville only has 90 degrees of potential movement, whereas if you go on the bottom corner, he can move a little bit more than in a 90-degree angle. And also, you are a bit closer to the chest when it spawns if you use the top left, which gives you more time to position yourself closer to it. Jurg is doing Lydia, which is very similar to Neville. However, in the room in which Lydia is in, there's actually quite a bit of lag as the game loads two rooms at the same time while you're in there. So people tend to go into the top right corner to suck a Lydia up, as that's the best way to reduce lag.
So looks like both runners have a pearl. We'll get into that
Yes,
when we
they
come up
also
to
both
the
have a
results
middle
screen.
pearl, which is
The
lovely.
same pearl, huh?
Yeah,
Interesting.
wow. So Jur's about to start the Chauncey fight here. Pretty simple, you hit him with a ball, and then it starts the actual fight afterwards.
Okay. So this is Area 1 boss fight. And
Yeah,
A lot of the strats that we do here are intentional to
yes. Chelsea
do
may look
setups.
as though you're messing him up a lot when you do this fight. However, taking damage is intentional and done several times during the Chauncey fight, and you also deliberately should let go of Chauncey above 50 HP on the first cycle, because Chauncey cannot be one cycled. However, if you bring him under 50 HP on the first cycle, then his second cycle will take a little bit longer. So by keeping him above 50 HP, you can get a faster two cycle than if you went below 50 HP on the first cycle. Jurg is going for the first ball catch, doing the setup properly, and
There
he
we go.
does it. Congratulations, first ball catch. The setups aren't too hard, although they can be quite tricky if you don't do the movement the correct way.
Yeah, so we take intentional damage to lose money. It saves some time on the results screen.
Correct,
Oh,
and also you can push Chauncey along his path slightly if you get damaged in certain spots as well, which helps speed up the bouncing segments that you do.
so unfortunately, Sandy is missing that first ball catch.
Yes, that's unfortunate. That's never good. Jurga's going for the second cycle, and he
He
gets the ball
catches it.
catch. That is
Nice.
not as easy to do as it may look. So Jurga doing a pretty good Chauncey fight.
So he may have a lead, but it is still early on in the race. Anything can happen. It's
Absolutely.
as we get into the second area, it'll be um, pretty heavy RNG dependent.
So Jurga got a 6'11 Chauncey key. Sandy went for an older strat to catch the balls. I don't know if it's just because he isn't aware of the faster strat or if he just wanted to play it safe, but he will be getting what looks to be a 635. Yeah,
Yes.
635 key grab for Chauncey there, putting Jurga at a little quite substantial lead early on, unfortunately for Sandy. However, this is Luigi's Mansion. Again, anything can happen. We're going to discuss the money now. Basically, at the end of every area, the game wants to count up how much money you've collected, which takes about a second to do. So, if you were to collect absolutely no money and no pearls or anything, you will skip counting it and save a second. Unfortunately, because both of these runners have at least one pearl, they have to wait for the money counter.
Oh man. Oh, I also noticed they're both running on English versions of the
Yes,
game.
they are running
Um,
on the NTSCU version, which is if you were to run the game in Japanese, you would inherently have approximately 30 seconds of time save, as the text boxes in the Japanese version take less time, and there are a couple of Japanese exclusive text skips that you can perform later in the run as well. Another downside to running on the NTSCU version is that you take double damage compared to the Japanese version, so that should make things a bit harder for them.
uh,
Jurga managing to squeeze a
gets
double out of that. I don't know how he
gets
pulled that off, but he did well.
yeah, he did the backup where he pushes one of the grabbers towards the other one, and that'll let them stay, uh,
Yes.
visible
When
in the room instead of them disappearing.
if a ghost attacks Luigi, but you manage to touch the ghost before he despawns, they will then continue to stay in the room and not despawn. So he was able to finagle a double out of that. Sandy got the double properly. You kind of want to just let the grabber ghost touch you and then pull him out of you, and for lack of a better term,
Oh,
Jurga missing the first Shy Guy double. That's not
these
good.
these doubles can be a bit finicky to grab sometimes.
They're
Uh,
probably doing it on NTSCU because they don't own a Japanese copy. And I should also mention that it's a 30-second time save, so it's not like it's guaranteed you can't run the game effectively on English. You could theoretically still get world record on NTSCU if you had a god run. It's not like it's a huge difference.
yeah. Oh,
These next ghosts are RNG dependent. They can show their heart really early, or they can show their heart 10 seconds later. Jared got the earliest cycle, which is referred to in the community as early release, giving him a 10-second lead if Sandy doesn't get early release.
that's
We're
what I'm
about to
hoping for.
find out.
That way, this race could. There it goes.
Yep, okay, cool. Sandy getting
So
early release, so
nobody.
things are a bit more fair.
Yeah, nobody has the unfair disadvantage. Well, I guess we should explain scare skip. We
Yes, okay. So
use
there
the
was
Game Boo horror to just to skip Luigi's scare animation to save like a second or some frames to catch the ghost more quickly.
correct. That was discovered by the Skazi, who is a very good runner of this game. You can use the Game Boy Horror to prevent Luigi from getting scared when ghosts spawned. It isn't inherently faster than anything, but it does make it very easy to start the suck up of a ghost on the first potential frame.
Mm.
And there are a couple of rooms in which you can use the extra movement time to your advantage in terms of setting up optimal ghost suck ups as well. So, all in all, it's a useful strat to do.
Okay, I couldn't tell on Sandy's side, but I think he got poster skip as well.
Well, let's see. It looks
Yes,
like he did. Okay,
poster
so you
skip.
can get that poster earlier than the game intends you to by sucking it through the wall in a certain way. It saves like 2 or 3 seconds, I think.
Poster skip works by having the vacuum apparently can have a its hitbox can go through the wall and it extends all the way to the poster and it's really far, so
Yeah,
it's
you
like a
can.
really strong vacuum.
There's a specific place to stand and an angle to angle the vacuum, and you can just sort of grab the poster through the wall and suck it up without having to have pressed the button. It's pretty cool. That was discovered by, I believe, both V-Man and Jared Giants, although I'm not 100% on that. I think those were those who discovered it. Saves some
Yeah,
time
that,
pretty fast.
I think that's right. Um, all right, Jurga getting the first boo. He goes to suck up the tablecloth and doesn't get the text skip.
Oof. There is a way to skip text in this game because when you catch a boo, specifically this first
So
boo in general,
Sandy, if he does this correctly, he'll probably save 8 seconds.
yes, because when you catch a boo, as you saw with Jurga there, you get text on the screen explaining how ghost suck ups work, all that sort of stuff, right? And if for some reason you catch a boo, but then suck up a sheet or a tablecloth immediately after, like Sandy just did, it just completely skips that text altogether. So Sandy saved approximately 6 to 8 seconds on Jurga there by getting that text skip. So that's really good for him. Boos in this game are very interesting. There's a lot of thought that goes into them. The radar that's on the bottom detects where the boos are in the room. There are certain spots they can and can't be. There's a lot to think about and a lot that goes into actually catching the boos, making it pretty much the most difficult and also the biggest time save in the entire speedrun. So people who are good at finding
Oh,
boos,
interesting. Jurga is
yeah,
going to get
mm,
boo first.
Jig is going to lose a little
Ballroom.
bit of time by doing because he's getting the ballroom boo before he gets the storage room boo, unlike Sandy, which is slower because that means that Jurga will have to then walk all the way through the ballroom a second time, which Sandy will not have to do.
I was gonna say, using the radar is unfortunately not the most accurate. So you kind of just have to know where boos can hide, and if one hit does end up, I guess, switching, then you would have to spend more extra time searching for them.
Yeah, and because boos are RNG, it can be a huge time loss if your boos decide to not cooperate in the most optimal of ways.
Hmm. So as we go through these hallways, we are pointing our flashlight up and then facing in the direction of a ghost spawning just to prevent getting scared and
Yes.
losing a second.
There are certain spots within the hallways where ghosts spawn. Some ghosts spawn on the ceiling and some ghosts spawn on the floor. So you point your vacuum up and face away from the wall so that Luigi is constantly looking at both spawn points. So that way it prevents any ghosts from spawning in the hallways, which would be a time loss every time that that happens. A lot of this game is a combination of very small time saves, but they come together to make big time saves.
Yeah, this game is actually pretty speedrunner friendly, but if you get more into it, you'll realize how technical it can be.
Absolutely. It's a very easy game to get into speedrunning, but a very difficult game to get good at speedrunning.
All right, got the first double uh, with those grabbers.
Soon they're going to be going for a strat in which you get the fire medallion whilst you get the boo in this room. and then you can use the boo to save and quit, allowing you to get the fire medallion without having to read any of the text that
Oh,
explains how the medallion works, and you can avoid using the puzzle in this room to leave, and you also get optimal butler cycle as well if you're fast enough. So fire warp is a very useful strat, and we're going to see
oh,
here if Jurga can pull it off. His
oh.
ankle's bad, so oof.
Yeah. He is
Will Sandy?
his
Sandy's doing it
vacuum.
more optimally.
Yeah, his vacuum takes priority over objects instead of like booze,
Yeah, definitely.
and
The
that gets in
vacuum
the
tends
way.
to, as you can
Well,
see here with Sandy, he's suddenly
Sandy.
made himself quite a lead.
So yeah, Sandy's in the lead now.
Yes, he sure is. Uh, See what I mean? It's Luigi's Mansion. Anything can happen.
Or maybe they're. Uh, I guess he's still. I think Jurga's still kind of in the lead.
It's not. It's not 100% though because Jurga didn't get the boo in that room, whereas Sandy did. So Jurga's going to have to come back later to
Oh, I
get the
missed
boo.
that. Okay. Okay, I didn't realize he didn't catch the boo. Oh, that's right. He grabbed the thing first, and that's right. Okay.
So, unfortunately, Jurga does have quite a time loss here, even though it may seem like he's ahead of Sandy, because Jurga is now missing a boo that he cannot get until Area 3, which means
Hmm.
the boo is going to reset itself, meaning he's going to have to go back in that room and get it again, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sandy is currently substantially ahead. I would say probably 20 or 30 seconds ahead of Jurga right now.
Uh-huh.
The backup boos are possible, but they would be a lot more time lost than just getting that boo a second time.
Jurga getting hit by the puncher, purple puncher.
Oof, he's not doing too hot here.
Uh, yeah, if we're talking about like getting Breaker Boo as the backup, then good luck.
Yeah, there are a couple of boos you can get as a backup.
Oh,
Pipe room
I think
boo.
Sandy just got chest skip.
He did.
Oh,
When the chest spawns, if you touch a certain object, for example Mario's hat, while the chest is spawning, you can then skip the scene in which the game shows you where the chest spawns, allowing you to have a few extra seconds of movement, which is very useful for getting this butler while also activating the mouse hole. However, uh, because they're both playing on the NTSCU version, the mouse hole text skip, which is possible in the Japanese version, is not possible for them. So they will unfortunately have to watch the text for these two moves here.
hmm. All right. So this room has a pretty I don't know how you would say it, but
There's a very strange strat in this room in which you spawn 4 of these ghosts, light them on fire, despawn the bats by lighting them on fire, and then going for a quad. And we're going to see if Sandy goes for
uh-oh.
it. He almost did.
Punched in the face. Oh, those bats are messing it up.
He could have gone for an easier version of it by lighting the quad on fire a second time before sucking them up, but I think he was just trying to be optimal, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him. We'll see how well Jurga does. I think Jurga's taking it a little bit more safe, and I think he's lighting them on fire more than he needs to.
Okay, so he's opting to grab 3 instead of the 4.
Fair enough.
Taking damage there, that gives him invincibility frames, so he cannot take damage.
This strat is quite difficult to do, and it's up because everything kind of has to go the right way. So it's not as easy as it seems. They aren't just completely bad. It's definitely a hard strat.
Mm-hmm. It would be hyped to see if Sandy gets like a tech skip here, but
Yeah, you can
and
use the sheet in this room
he
to
almost got it.
I would argue he was not even remotely close, to be honest, but
No,
that's
but he was
fine.
he tried. He tried.
You basically have to suck up the sheet on the exact same frame that you start the ghost animation for the boo, and then you have to move in a very specific way to pull the sheet enough to actually get the text skip. But it's usually really exciting when you can get the launchy boo text skip, despite the fact that it only saves maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
So as Sandy's playing all the instruments to activate melody, Jurga is gonna have to redo the laundry room because I don't think he cleared it.
Correct. He got hit by the punchers and had a bad time, so he decided to not risk losing the butler and just do the whole launch room the second time.
So Melody plays two songs, and one of them is Water, the other one is Mario Brothers 3. But since they're on English, they can actually tell which answer it is.
Right. And also, the songs are the correct answers are in the same spot on the text box every time, depending on which songs you get. So if you know what the song is, you know what inputs to press, even if you can't read the text anyway.
Yeah.
I should also mention
So,
that there's two different songs, but the time difference between them is like a tenth of a second, so it doesn't really matter what song she plays. The only difference is on one of them you have to press the up direction on your control stick before you press A. That's really the only difference.
yeah. Sandy leaving first, so he got good RNG in that room.
Yes, he did do quite well. He'll be getting the water medal soon. Let's see what song Jurga got.
It's Mario Brothers 3.
Nice. Looks like he just lost 0.1 second.
Okay, so the strat Sandy just did is he sprays fire before the ghost spawns. That's actually gets rid of their element, the ice, and that way he can shine the light right after they spawn to save
Yeah,
some time. It actually
that ghost and
saves
several
an
ghosts.
animation of them getting burned.
Exactly. There are ghosts in this game with elements on them, and you have to use other elements to remove their elements before you can suck them up. However, for some reason, if you're firing an element and facing spawn point, the ghosts will still spawn. And if you hit them with the right element while the spawning animation happens, you can remove their elements during that animation, and then they'll function like any other ghost without any time being lost.
So this is Spooky, our favorite dog ghost.
Yes, and also the only one in the game.
Yeah, just like how Chauncey's the only baby.
Spooky has a little bit of movement you want to do to get him. Optimally, you want to dodge his first two attacks and then get hit deliberately on the third one, because after his third attack is finished, it will spawn Mr. Bones. So by getting hit on the third one, you spawn Mr. Bones quite a bit faster than if you just dodged all of his attacks. It also allows you to throw him into a certain spot in which you can get him in the middle of the room as Mr. Bones is being sucked up, which will allow him to start licking the bone right away. Sandy getting the double on the skeletons there, which is really good. That's a little bit of strat you have to do to get that.
Yeah, I think the what is it? The way to manipulate them is you kind of want to face them to the face away from the from the left side, and then try to get them together in the middle to flash them both.
Yeah, the skeleton's movement is dependent on Luigi's position, so if you stand in certain ways, they'll clump together, and then you can get a double really easily.
Otherwise, the one on the right is just going to stay farther away and throw his bone at you.
Now Sandy is going towards, or is about to do, the Bogmire fight. Bogmire is a very interesting boss because he somewhat functions like a portrait ghost. However, he pulls really aggressively and it's very easy to break off. So what you want to do for Bogmire is you kind of want to make sure Luigi has control over Bogmire for the whole fight, which is difficult to do, as you can see. Sandy's trying, but Bogmire's giving him a bit of a runaround there. You get control of a ghost by holding the control stick in the opposite direction of them instead of doing normal pumps and taps. And then once you have control, you can then do damage normally. Sandy getting a pretty fast cycle there.
Alright, Jurga is gonna be grabbing the heart and then doing his boss fight. We'll see if he has a better time getting one cycle.
We'll see. He also got the double on the skeletons, although he did it a little bit differently to Sandy. I think he kind of just got lucky with his. So Sandy's on his way to Area 3. We'll take a look at how Jurga's Bogmire fight goes. Another strat to get Bogmire is to hold against his direction with the control stick and then use the C stick to do damage on him. That is a little bit easier to keep control, however, it does make it so that the potential to lose control is greater when it happens, and it's slower optimally in terms of doing fast damage. So I would recommend just getting familiar with the control stick and keeping the fight completely in your control for the duration of it.
He's broke off at 25.
Oof. Bogmire can either start moving towards the middle of the arena or he can
Oh,
fall. When he moves in the middle of the arena like that, he tends to spin around a lot, and that makes it hard to stay in control. But when he goes up against the wall, it's pretty easy to like keep in control of the fight.
yeah, it's an optimal strat just to keep ghosts in the corner so that way they don't have much room to run
Yeah,
around.
because you kind of want to be pulling against their direction to do damage. But if they're spinning around and moving in corners and stuff, it's kind of hard to optimally do damage whilst adhering to their spins. So if you do it in a corner, then they have less room to move, and it's easier to do directional pulls.
Exactly. Excuse me.
Sandy is currently now in Area 3, where he's going to go through the courtyard. He's going to fall through the well by using his vacuum to skip walking on the ladder. And now he's going to see Mario.
What's this?
He's finished the game. He's found Mario.
But is that really Mario?
Uh, sure.
I don't
I'm not
know.
even remote lying with that. I'm pretty sure that's Mario.
but his icon's not next to the text box.
Oh. Well,
That's
maybe he
just
was thinking it and not saying it.
I think that was just a thing they forgot to do and
Yeah.
develop it.
So it is actually possible to skew and then clip out of bounds in the well and throw yourself into King Boo's altar. But of
Sandy
course,
getting sorry,
if you were to
Sanding
do that, you would end up invalidating your no out of bounds.
Sanding getting stumble skip that just saved him like 1,000 years of his time.
It sure did. You see, the game likes to reset Luigi's position, but if it determines that Luigi, which is about a second of time loss, but Sandy managed to skip that animation by doing a good flashlight skip, which he just did there. You can
Oh,
use the elements to skip certain animations with pulling out the vacuum and stuff. It saves a little bit of time, and there's a lot of instances of it. So over time, the more flashlight skips you do, or the more vacuum cancels you do, the more time you save.
alright, so he's going for a safer flashlight catch right here.
Yeah, the tea room is pretty interesting. There's a couple of different strats you can do. Generally, Sandy has to right the ceiling, grab one of the ghosts, get down, and then grab the second one. There are a couple of ways to do it. So you can also set up a text skip whilst you're doing it, although Sandy didn't do that one. But he does have the ice element now, and he's get the ice element and boo. And then he's going to use the ice element later. Ice is pretty cool because it actually can stun the boos in place, preventing them from being too much of a nuisance while you're trying to catch them.
Okay. Oh no, he got away out of zero.
Oof. The
So it's
reason that that happened is because
it's
sucking on the cloth whilst he was getting the boo. So
yeah.
because the games thought he was sucking up the cloth, it didn't want to play animation to suck up that boo. Fortunately though, because it was at 0 HP, when he respawns it in the next room, he can get it immediately and skip the animation of the boo spawn anyway, so it shouldn't lose him anytime if he's lucky at optimal. We'll just have to see.
Mm-hmm.
They're having a bit of a hard time here in the
Uh, so here we go in Nana's room. We have to shoot these balls of yarn at Nana, who is
Sandy going
somehow.
for a not very op
Oh
pattern to
no.
getting the balls, but he should be okay as long as.
Okay, yeah. Thankfully, none of them disappear, or I mean, none of them got shot at the wall. So Nana doesn't
Yeah,
disappear, and that means if she does, you have to leave the room and come back and start over.
the balls obviously have set patterns, and the best way to catch them is to go for to the right first, so that you don't have to go all the way to the right of the Sandy did.
So, all right, here's Limbooger.
Yes, sure is. There he is, guys. Say hi, Limbooger.
Well, thankfully, that was
We'll
pretty
see if
good
Sandy remembers to
case
get Tea
scenario.
Room Boo as well.
That was a good case scenario because he got the boo out of the table. And
He also handled it very well.
catches the runaway guy.
He sure does. He just caught Proton John.
All right, so we're coming up into the Astral Hall and we need fire to light up candles to activate the 3 waves of ghosts to
Yes.
to clear.
Luigi's going to use this demonic circle to summon spirits. It's very, very scary. I'd recommend closing your eyes.
Oh, Jurga's almost gonna...
Jurga's having ghost problems.
Yeah, that Boo's almost gonna escape if... Okay, he got it.
When Boos escape from Nana's room, it's often have to quite a distance away to even remotely get near the Boo, and then they'll likely go into either Nana's room again or another room. You have to follow them all over the second floor, which is a lot of time.
Okay. Having a bit of trouble finding this Boo. I think he swaps in the candle right there.
Yeah, it's the bottom right one. Sandy had the right idea though, because that Boo is on the top and in any of the, so it's usually a good idea to check them first.
I can't
Sandy's
wait.
now going to do the moon shot, which is a fun part of the game where you shoot the moon. It's not easy because there's no way to like aim, and often you might look like you're doing it right, and then you'll fly off to the right, and you'll have no idea how that makes any sense. So let's see if Sandy gets the angle right.
Yes, he does. He gets the bullseye.
Congratulations, he did. He got direct center.
So yeah, there's a particular angle that you have to know in order to get the correct shot, or the correct aiming for it.
Yeah.
It kind of just looks like there's a little gap in between the edge of the vacuum and Luigi.
Yeah, and that's a decent setup. It works. My preferred setup is to just hope for the best. I think Sandy sort of did that, but it worked out for him.
Yeah, it didn't spend too much time adjusting. All right, looks like, yeah, he got a good good RNG for Jurga.
So Jurga's going to do Moonshot now. Let's count how many times he takes Moonshot. Sandy is going to go down towards the projector room now, which is very similar to the mirror room. Jurga's lining up.
And he gets it. It's good.
Wow. Congratulations. First try Moonshot. It takes 10 full seconds to shoot the moon for it to hit, so if you miss Moonshot, you lose 10 seconds every time.
Alright, here we go with the first double in the projector room. It looks like he gets it. Nice.
Yeah, the doubles are, there's a setup for all, or we'll see if he gets the...
Nice, got the triple.
Yes, he did the setup properly.
Alright, I guess he's opting to grab the Boo first.
Yeah, optimally he Boo, open the chest, grab the Boo, and then the shoe. Although I think he was just worried that he would lose the Boo.
Yeah. Alright, so we're making our way to to the twins' room now, after mirror warping.
Yes, the twins are fun. They play a game with you, and then after that, then you get to suck them. And it's a good time. You have to spin a mobile.
And just gotta got good RNG.
This is also the part of the game where the Boo text when you catch the Boo is RNG. Sometimes you get really quick text boxes. Sometimes you get...
Yeah, you would get like Vanguard text, which is like the longest text box
I
you can.
believe it's 6 seconds or something longer than any of the other text boxes. And then some text boxes are like a second long.
So the twins' names are Orville and Henry,
Henry.
based on like the cars, the four
The
twins,
cars.
and no, I meant the
Henry
four.
and Orville are the names of the twins, and one of them rides a car and the other one flies a plane. That's because their names are based on Henry Ford, the inventor of Ford, and Orville Wright from, the invention of the airplane.
Exactly.
There, that's what you were attempting to say.
Yeah, I'm just pretty flustered right now.
I mean, this is some pretty exciting gameplay.
Yeah.
I've never felt more alive.
Oh, just wait until we do our matchup. We're gonna be doing
I'll feel
360
so
no scopes
alive.
on the moon.
I intend to. It is possible to get a double on the twins. However, it's really inconsistent to do any form of setup, and often you'll mess up every time, and it's really just not worth it in most people's eyes. It is faster if you get a double on the twins, as long as your setup doesn't take forever, though.
Yeah, you also have to kind of actively watch out for uh, Orville as he's like dropping bombs on you.
Yeah. Oh, this is the shoe. The glove isn't
Oh yeah, the glove
boo
was
and
in the
then the
projector
shoe,
room.
but I meant to say get the boo and then the glove.
So at this point, we should have all of Mario's hidden lost items
Yes.
to go talk to the fortune teller, Madame Clairvoya,
The twins
which,
room does have a sheet in it which you can use to get a text skip. It is possible, and runners have done it. However, it's so stupidly difficult and requires like you to set up the boo properly that there's almost no point in doing it.
yeah, I haven't even bothered to even learn how to do that.
Sandy got the text skip in Lydia's room because that room lags really bad. You don't do that, so he's lucky.
Oh no, Jurga getting hit by one of the twins from the plane.
Yeah. So Sandy's now talking to Clairvoyant
Yeah, this
to
is
her
gonna be
for quite a while. He's
yeah,
gonna have
this
a
is
very
like
engaging conversation with her.
a minute and a half of just straight tech button mashing. This is
Yes.
like considered carpal tunnel the game.
Yeah, this is the part of the game where you press the A button and then the button over and over.
Can you narrate the whole Clairvoya text?
Absolutely.
Well,
Uh, I would love to, but he's unfortunately mashing quite a bit too fast.
yeah. I think the only ones that you would know are like show me what. Oh jeez, I can't even think of it right now.
See, I can see them on screen, and yet I can't say it out loud. This hat is so clean, it's as if someone just washed it.
What outworldly beauty.
Oh ho, they come.
So, alright, so Jurga's gonna set up for his tech skip now.
We'll see if he gets it.
Oh, this could be close.
Yeah,
It's
he's gonna have
just
to do
hanging.
the prop. Otherwise, he's getting the sheet before he gets the boo. As long as you're walking directly into the bed and holding up, then you won't suck up the sheet even if it's right off the edge. So hopefully he does that.
Alright, he got it.
Yep, that seems to be what he was doing. So he did that well. Sandy's doing Clairvoyant, which is a very interesting pull against you at all. So in order to do damage, you have to manually push against her and then start pulling against her so that you can actually do any damage on her.
Yeah, Clairvoya doesn't really fight with you, because I think she
Yeah.
says she is glad to be able to get captured and put back into her painting.
Yeah, her lore is that she's content with the needs to resist, but and the game doesn't have an animation of that, so you're still then sucking up.
Oh, okay.
So Jurga's in clairvoyance, but he should also remember he the mirror room as well.
Yes. Yeah, he still needs to grab that boo.
Sandy remembering to get ice because he's going to need ice in the safari room.
Yes, there's these water element ghosts, and you need ice to put them out. And just like we did in the kitchen, we can spray on their spawn points before they spawn, and that'll get rid of the element. And oh, looks like he was too late on that.
That's fine. They the boo spawn in the safari room is quite difficult because you have to be far enough away to not get scared, but close enough to actually get the ice on him before the animation stops.
So he's just gonna get them one at a time. There is a double setup where if you put Luigi's position on the left side towards where the left garbage can ghost is, you can push him towards that. I forget if they're called like the blue blaze or something, but
The blue ghosts are called twirlers, and you can push one of the ghosts into the twirler and then get a double that way. But unfortunately, that's quite difficult to do.
oh, blue twirler. That's okay. Huh. Okay.
I seem to be having microphone problems, but I can't identify them.
Yeah, I was noticing them too. It's okay.
That's fair. I hope you guys like not having a decent microphone.
It's every once in a while. It doesn't sound that bad. But
Yeah,
okay,
people
so
just like to complain.
Jurga got his boo, now he's all cut up. He just
Good,
needs to
good.
go and get the Safari Boo and then go to King Boo. Or no, Boo losses.
Yep,
Yeah,
he's
he
gonna
doesn't.
clip out of bounds and go right to King Boo.
Yeah.
So Sandy's doing Brulassus now. Brulassus is an interesting ghost because you can one cycle him by going to the right, grabbing ice, and then going all the way to the left, which will cause the boos to cluster together. And then you can fire an ice ball at the cluster to get a whole bunch of them, and you can one cycle him.
Yeah, of course, assuming one of the ice uh, element ghosts doesn't just move out of bounds, like just
Yeah, sometimes the ice can
like a
actually go
realtor.
out of balance, but usually, like it is in Sandy's case, the ice is pretty close to the unicorn, and you don't have to worry too much.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate bad luck if that were to
There's a
happen.
lot of interesting thought that goes into Brulassus, but generally, as long as you do the movement right, it's not hard. And as you can see, Sandy's doing it pretty well.
Okay, so he has like King or Bulossus has like different kinds of AI depending on how many boos are left on the field. So this is like the aggressive AI. And they tend to
Unfortunately,
play trick
despite getting a one
tricks on him.
cycle, Sandy's not doing it very fast, so it's about as fast as if he had gotten a two cycle, which is a shame, but,
Yeah.
what can you do, I suppose?
But it still counts as a one cycle.
Sure does. He still gets all that street cred. Optimally, you want to get the entire cluster of ghosts before any of the boos start running away from the ice, but Sandy didn't do that, which means he then had to go into the bait tactic where you stand away from them and then lure them into you.
Yeah, Jurga is going to be coming up, so let's see how his Bulossus fight turns out.
Let's see if he manages to save any time on Sandy. Of course, Sandy is going into the blackout, in which he'll then have to do Grimly, and he could lose all of this time save there.
Yeah, it would have to be like really bad to like have to wait 50 seconds for him to show his heart or something like that.
Yes, Grimly is interesting because you have to turn away from him and then wait for him to show his heart. He can show his heart immediately upon you spawning him, and there's no limit to how long you have to wait. So, in theory, you could be waiting forever before he shows his heart.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, I actually kind of had a question about this, but so I was wondering if, like, when you start Blackout, that's obviously when I guess he spawns. Um, it's when he spawns into that ward in the wardrobe room. So I'm wondering if it's like on a cycle thing.
Well, when you enter the blackout, you are actually teleported to a different map altogether,
Yeah.
and that map has Grimly in the wardrobe. But the way this game works is rooms are actually completely disabled entirely until you're 2 rooms away. So because you're quite far away from Grimly's room when you start the blackout, he is actually completely frozen, and he doesn't technically do anything until you get into the anteroom. In which case, then he counts as spawned, and then he'll start moving. But it isn't necessarily cycle based. It's just there's a timer that is indefinite, and it checks every second basically to see if it wants to spawn his heart. But there is no like limit on that. It could just be any second.
Okay. Yeah, Jurga now gets to move on. He did get a 1 cycle, but it was pretty slow, kind of similar to Sandy's.
That's unfortunate. Sandy is starting the blackout now. Normally in this area, the ghosts are all over the place, but as long as you're facing their spawn points as Sandy's doing, you can just ignore all of them.
Yeah, we also switched into sidestep mode, so it makes it easier to control our angle.
Yeah, he'll be using a mirror here to warp into the main room, saving the hole going down through the second and first floor. How often does LM have race tourneys? Once every year there is a tourney. There was going to be 100% tourney in the winter of last year, but that didn't end up going through. So the safest thing to say is just once every year.
Hmm. All right, I couldn't tell, but I think okay, he does get like a 4 second,
Yeah, it was about
3 second
4 seconds.
Grimly.
And that's the average. That's usually about how long Grimly takes. It's just sometimes he can be really mean to you. The longest known Grimly has ever been recorded as at was 50 seconds.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder if that was during a tournament.
I do not believe it was, but I think that there have been some pretty long Grimleys during the tournaments.
Yeah. I just seem to particularly remember GC having the
Yeah,
worst luck
he
in
got
one
very
of his
close.
races.
I recall he had something like 46 seconds on his Grimly or something like that, but not the world record, though.
No, but yeah. All right. So I don't expect Sandy to do Breaker Boo
No,
here.
you can definitely get this boo in 1 cycle, but it's not very easy. This is the hardest boo to 1 cycle in the entirety of the no out of bounds category, so most runners opt to get the Van Gore boo instead.
Well, it looks like Sandy's going to try to get a double, and
Will he
he
do it?
misses.
Oh,
That looks like it should have worked, but
yeah.
hitboxes are just finicky in this game.
It's definitely strange. That double's kind of hard to do. It saves about 6 seconds if you do it. If you don't do it and you end up getting the ghosts anyway, then you don't really lose any time compared to doing them in singles. So he's all right.
Hmm. So this boo tends to hide in one of the barrels, but it's just unfortunately on the other side of all that dust, so we can just use the vacuum to go through any walls, and it fortunately reaches to
Yes,
activate.
although the vacuum does have a tendency to not always do that. Sometimes it bounces away from the wall. It's very
Yeah,
annoying when that happens.
yeah. I don't understand this game's hitboxes sometimes.
The vacuum is very weird. It's treated like a solid object that's spinning, and it has more strength on the sides than directly in the center, and then gets progressively stronger the closer to Luigi it gets. Uh, and I guess that messes it up sometimes. Jurga getting about the same time on his Grimly as Sandy did, so far their RNG has been pretty much the same.
Okay. Yeah, this area is just a bunch of walking around.
Yeah, Area 4 is very much a walking simulator. You go to the top of the mansion, then the bottom, and then the top, and then the bottom several times.
But we're going to be coming up on the uh, what do you call it? Clockwork soldiers,
Yes, the
and
Clockwork Soldiers.
there's a few ways of doing this. You can either play safe and go for each one at just one at a time, or you can be risky and try to go for a double
Yes,
in the top left corner of the room. And there's like it has a particular way of doing it because you have to try and get the rightmost soldier to uh, meet you towards the left side, and I don't think he's going to get it, so he's probably
no,
going
his
for singles.
position's not going to allow that, so he seems to be playing it safe.
Hmm. Which is fine, because getting doubles, especially for this kind of a portrait ghost, is just the most
Yeah,
ridiculous to do.
the Clockwork Soldiers pull very aggressively, and when you do their doubles, often they like to go in opposite directions of each other, making it almost impossible to not break off on at least one of them.
Yeah, so I would just kind of suggest focusing, like if you do get a double, you just have to really focus on doing damage to one of them, and
Yeah, yeah.
they shouldn't break off quite as easily.
Sandy is now on the rooftop where he's going to fire all the Shy Guys. He isn't doing it optimally, but he's definitely doing it quick enough for it not to matter. Getting extra fire as well, which is very useful.
That other ghost took a while to spawn. I think it's because he
Yes,
had the fire out, and
you're correct. It was it's basically if you're holding the L button down and facing away from a spawn point, they won't spawn until you let go of the L button. So that's kind of what happened to Sandy there.
yeah, it will. I think they will spawn if you have like your vacuum sucking out, or sucking, but
Yes, if you're sucking on the
it's
vacuum, then they'll spawn, and if you're facing them while you hold the L button, they'll spawn. But if you're facing away from them while holding the L button, then they won't spawn.
interesting programming.
It's great. This game's wonderfully consistent.
Yeah. Okay, so this is coming up is the armory room, and there's a lot of different strats to doing this, so we'll see what he does. He does for the
Yeah.
scare skip, he goes to grab the garbage ghost and also set fire to the orange puncher. Or
He's on the
go,
beginning of the armory room exactly as intended, so that's good. He'll probably attempt to do the rest of the ghost properly as well. It seems like that is the case, so he'll likely set up a triple here on these last three.
very good. He doesn't, a lot of the time we end up hitting the wrong armory statue just to try and spawn that
He did a
spoiler.
very, very good armory room. That
But
was
yeah,
that was a high level strat, and he executed it flawlessly. So that's actually really impressive. I
yeah.
appreciate that, Sandy.
Ooh, Jurga got shot by one of the soldiers, has to spend more time catching them.
Technically, not the fastest strat for armory. There is a way to get a quad that's a bit faster, but it's also very stupid, and I would not recommend ever going for it. So Jurgen's currently on his way to the rooftop, where he will be playing with Shy Guys. Sandy is doing the brew optimally, where he's letting him charge. This room has a lot of lag because of how many objects are on screen. So when you do your R pumps in this room, you kind of want to compensate for the lag by changing the timing of your R pumps dynamically. Sandy did that perfectly fine, and he got the one cycle, so now he will be safe working out of there.
Yeah, he did
And
really well in armory.
it
I thought,
definitely feels like he practiced armory because that was some really sharp movement for the entirety of that armory room.
oh wow, Jurga just got a really interesting double. I'm
Yeah,
surprised it didn't miss.
Jurga has a tendency to get accidental doubles, I've noticed.
Yeah. Oh
Let's see
man.
if Sandy's Area 4 practice has paid off in these next rooms as well.
I think like Area 3 is my favorite, but Area 4 has like the hardest
Yeah,
you
Area
know,
4 is not very
strats.
long, but it's also very easy to mess things up. And if you mess things up in Area 4, it costs you a lot of time.
Hmm. Yeah, if he had missed that Boo and Armory, he would have had to chase him into either in back into Armory or into the what is it called?
The Clockwork Room?
I guess so. Yeah, I think it's called the Clockwork Room.
Unfortunately, Sandy getting scared by the grabber ghost after there because he let go of one of them before spinning the wheel, so he lost a second there that he probably didn't even know he lost. But that's fine. He did everything pretty okay, and now he'll be on his way to Weston's room.
Yeah. Okay. Jurga, I think he just took a safer strat of doing Armory. He just goes for a double instead of a triple.
That's
And
fair. I mean, if you feel like that's what you need to do, then that's fine. We'll see if Sandy gets a one cycle Weston. Weston is one of the harder ghosts to one cycle, but he's doing pretty well so far. He's
oh
very
yeah, he's
fortunate.
got him in that corner, baby.
That is very very fortunate.
Hold.
So, Weston normally moves around the room, and then because of the ice physics, Luigi gets pulled all over the place. But Sandy managed to keep him in the corner where he had complete and total control over him the entire time. That was really optimal. Also, because all of the pearls are in the top left, they won't even be an issue in the spoof fight either. It definitely feels like Sandy's done a lot of Area 4 practice, and it's definitely showing. That is a very beautiful one cycle Western Boo. Honestly, Sandy's Area 4 is actually impressing me. This is probably as good, if not better, than I normally do.
Yeah, like I never get to see that kind of control, and because he's just always moving around.
If I were Sandy, I'd probably be really ecstatic by how good that Weston suck up
Yeah,
went, though. Sandy
yeah.
not going for the fire here. That's a bit of an unexpected turn. But that's fine. He'll probably get the fire near the second floor stairs instead. It's a little bit faster to get the fire on the first floor because you don't have to wait for Luigi to pull out his vacuum, but that
Hmm.
isn't the biggest time loss in the world, and as long as he gets fire, he's fine, I suppose.
Excuse me. Jeez.
Wow, phenomenal commentary here.
I
This is the
can't.
part where you lose like 30 viewers.
Yeah. No, it's part of the experience.
Absolutely. It's like 40.
Just like if we had one of the commentators, their dog in the background.
Right, right. So Sandy's now at Van Gore. This is sort of a boss rush, but more like a normal enemy rush where you have to fight triples of most of the main enemies in the game, and then you get to suck up Van Gore. It's pretty cool, and if you do it optimally, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, I just hope that he doesn't uh hopefully he doesn't get screwed by
As long
that.
as he gets the first triple, he'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm mostly worried about like either the Shy Guys or oh wow, that was actually really instant.
Yeah, the first triple is the most difficult one because you have to move in a very weird way to do it. But if you do it right, then you're in position to get every other triple without any movement. So, and that seems like that's what Sandy's done. So, fortunately for him, everything should be smooth sailing as long as he gets to ground. Never mind, he just
Oh
lost two
no.
of the twirlers. Okay, that was unexpected. He's going to double. No, oof. The
Ah.
optimal way to have dealt with that would have been to light one on fire while sucking up the other one, but it's fine. He's got the triple on the grabbers, so everything else is pretty easy to do. The Shy Guys are easy, and the Garbage Ghosts are even easier, and then the Hangers are even easier, so he should have no problem here.
Yeah. It's the reason why we get fire for those the bombers.
Yeah, Purple Bombers is their official name, and they drop bombs. Funnily enough, so if you have fire, you can blow up the bombs before they hit the ground, and also damage their health at the same time, which is what Sandy just did.
Unfortunately, Jurga got hit by ice, and immediately so did Winston unfreeze, but it wasn't
Winston,
enough.
I
I'm
want to be
sorry.
Winston.
My bad. Weston. Winston.
Like the status if you're already Tracer.
Alright.
Let's see how Sandy's Vangorbu goes here. You can two-cycle him pretty easily as long as you know how to like maneuver it. It seems like he's doing just fine. Yep,
Yeah,
he
he
could
gets
have actually gone for an extra R pump, but he didn't need to. I think he might have double cackled, and that's why.
yeah.
He's
Oh,
very risky on the second cycle, though. I wouldn't have done it that way.
yeah, he might be too high and he's gonna probably escape again.
Yeah, that was not us. That he was playing that very dangerously, and it kind of came back to haunt him there.
Yeah, an interesting thing about the booze is that you kind of want him to escape a room first so that way his uh I guess the damage cycle is reset or something, because he cackles 15 times and then before escaping, um, and if like you enter a
Yeah,
hallway and then re-enter the room, he's still gonna be like running.
there's a lot that goes into the booze. To put it simply, the boos have 15 cackles that they can do, and they make the cackle noise every time they latch on to your vacuum. And with the R pumping strat, that causes them to latch on every time you do an R pump. So optimally, you can do 15 R pumps before the boo is guaranteed to run out of the room. But if you lead them while they're running out of the room and into the room first, they'll just immediately turn back around and go back into the first room, which, or in at least in most cases, and that's optimally how you want to handle Van Gorbu. Sandy did it a little bit differently, and it kind of hurt him as a result of that.
Well, this is looking like a 1-0.
103.32.
Yeah, depending
No.
on if he can, how well he can do 2-cycle King Boo.
Yeah, if he gets a two-cycle King Boo, he'll get a 103.32 around there at least. And if he gets a slow three-cycle, he'll get a 104.02, I think. And if he gets a fast three-cycle, he'll get a 103.52. So we'll see how well he goes.
Honestly, this is like the hypest section of the run.
I believe he's on PB pace.
Yes, he is. I forgot. He
So
had
if he
a,
gets a two cycle here, this will be a PB on sandyX.
yeah, he has like a high 103, so if he can get a mid 103, then that's PB.
Yes, he could also crown theft.
Oh,
Basically,
yeah.
if you don't know what that is, King Boo's crown is actually the trigger to end the fight, not King Boo. And if you touch King Boo's crown before you suck up King Boo, it triggers the end of the fight. But because you didn't suck up King Boo, it doesn't trigger the end of the game, and the credits don't roll, effectively soft locking your entire game.
Yeah.
You end up going into area 4, but like nothing works right and you can't progress anything, and objects are replaced by other. It's very strange.
And also, like, Luigi it just apparently has an extra limb.
Yeah,
He's just floating in the by the painting.
it's very strange, and obviously that would invalidate a run if you don't have a save to go back on.
Okay, he doesn't get the first cycle down.
No, Sandy's, if he's in smart here, he'll go for a fast 3 cycle, which probably won't PB, but it'll still be a pretty good run for him.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going for the fast 3. If you bring King Boo down to under 200 HP, then Bowser starts running around crazily with his head on backwards. But if you keep him above 200 HP, then he'll do his normal attack routine, and you can get a 3 cycle faster than otherwise.
Alright. So, the optimal fast 3-cycle.
Should still 103 though, so that's pretty good for Sandy.
And he gets a 103.57. That is
Nice.
1 second off.
That is so unfortunate.
I guess I do that.
You know what though? To be able to play 1 second behind your PB in a race is very impressive.
Yeah. That to like have your average around your PB is still really good.
Yeah, he did very well, and I think that his Area 4 had a lot to do with that because his Area 4, at least once he got an armory room, his Area 4 became like high level, and I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, no kidding. So, if Sandy wants to join in for commentary,
Yeah, Sandy,
we
by
can
all
have
means,
that.
feel free to hop into the live call, and we will do post run commentary.
Oh, it's okay. Forgetting to R pump right there.
Yeah, you kind of got to do your pumps after the third ice ball hits the ground.
What's up, guys? I'm gonna do an 80% run.
Oh, how exciting!
Nice. Well, congratulations on the win.
Yeah, I don't have time for the cutscene.
So, Sandy, how do you feel about your run?
Well, I was pretty disappointed that I forgot to R pump.
Yes,
And it
for
was
if you
gonna
had
be a real
remembered to
PB
R
too.
pump, you would have PB'd.
And it was a 103.57.
You know, though,
And my
if you had gotten
PB
a
is a
2 cycle,
103.56.
it would have been a faster PB.
Oh man. So yeah, that Area 4 was actually really impressive, and it is kind of unfortunate that you didn't finish it just as strong, but you know, I'd still say that's a really good win.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
almost felt like you were holding that Area 4 secret, and then you were just gonna like play not really to your level, so that we all kind of had low expectations, and you would just blow us all away with your god tier Area 4 at the end.
Well, my area 1 was pretty low level.
Congratulations on being the opposite of every other speedrunner.
Yeah.
Yay!
So Jurga is gonna be finishing with, I didn't even see what time he entered at King Boo.
It'll likely be like a 107.15, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Put your guesses in the chat.
Oop, oop, there we go. Sorry, I'm catching ghosts.
It's a pretty intensive thing to do, I understand.
Meanwhile, we get to see an 80% run alongside this.
Any percent in the No Out of Bounds tournament.
Oh, you're right. I'll do it inbounds.
Thank you. Jurga doing really well on his first cycle. He could do
Okay,
like all this
so
if he does this well.
he is able to do a 2 cycle with this amount of health. You want to stay relatively around 250 to get a successful 2-cycle catch.
As long as his second cycle is done optimally, he should be able to get a 2 cycle no problem. And so far, he looks like he'll be able to. His R pumps are a bit slow though. Yeah,
Yeah, this is not gonna work.
If he had R pump just a bit faster, he would have gotten into a cycle.
And I don't know if that's going to. Okay, good. Sometimes I've had this happen where Bowser will just get stuck running until he reaches the other point of the stage.
Yeah, he
It's because
definitely
he gets
didn't
like
move
stuck
properly
in
there.
running animation towards that it's where the elevator is.
Yes, the elevator. Is he about to get comboed? That's not very good.
No, I hope he doesn't die here.
Oof. Yeah,
Oh, no,
Bowser. When Bowser
Oh.
sucks you up like that, you are guaranteed to get comboed. And on the NTSC version, that combo does 60 hit points of damage.
Ooh.
So,
Oh yeah.
unfortunate.
So, is he gonna keep
a lot of
going, or
damage.
is he? Oh, I think he's done.
He stopped
Yeah,
his timer, so
he
I would
stopped.
consider that a an end to his run. He already lost, so it doesn't count as a forfeit, but it's an end to his run, unfortunately.
Yeah.